I guess there wasn't. Okay, did anybody see the interaction between the Usos and Control? I guess they're calling themselves.
Oh, is that Bailey's team?
Yeah, this interaction. Yep. And steal the last look at her ass. Yeah, you go there, Jay. He's like, oh, Dakota Kai, hello.
He's just rubbernecking it the whole time.
He broke his fucking neck.
Understandable.
All right. Hi everybody. This is Big Papa Grump from the board Doom, and yeah, SummerSlam, good show. Io Sky / Shirai, nice to see you.
Dude,
Dakota Kai, super happy. Becky Lynch face turn. It's all good. The ring got bent like it was freaking Inception. Awesome. Street Profits are still a thing. Neutral. Logan Paul is good. I hate it, but he was good. And that's my summary of SummerSlam.
Pat McAfee is still the best thing in either.
Pat McAfee is awesome. Baron Corbin's still a great heel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Happy Corbin. Madcap Moss wasn't on the show.
Yeah. Well, Madcap Moss is winning at life. So.
And CJ Truth is still the champ because instead of picking smart, I went out of my comfort zone and tried to just pick enough different from him that it was not. Yeah, so I don't even know if I'm going to be in a position for a rematch in a couple of months, so we'll see. But anyways, yeah, so he successfully defended his title, and then we all shit on him in the chat, so it's all good. Life still works. So, but yeah, so Cher, Bailey's back. Forgot to mention. Well, I was too excited by like Io Shirai.
Everybody else. Yeah, and I
Bailey had too many pockets.
I don't understand the name change. I thought we were done with the Vince era.
I think, yeah, but that was probably in the WWE is not going to change their policy on the ownership and stuff because their merchandising machine is so huge. So
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean,
it is what it is.
But it's, dude, like Triple H came in and he said, I'm getting all my fucking people back. What the hell?
Well, so far we've only, two, I guess, because Io Shirai actually wasn't gone.
No,
she might as well have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because she got her main roster deal. So, and like I was explaining to Dahlia, for anybody who like doesn't know who Dahlia is, she's the one person in our comments that isn't a troll. Or Corey. Well, okay, the one person in our comments that isn't a troll. But I told her, it's like, you just keep an eye on her because I told her to go back and watch NXT, but watch Black and Gold NXT.
Yes.
You know, don't bother with the 2.0 stuff unless you're gonna just try to get up to speed on what's going on now. But I told her, it's like, because Io Shirai is probably pound for pound the best all-around woman wrestler on the planet, and I stand by that. And there are a lot of good ones, so you know, I'm not saying that she's like the only good, but she for me is probably the best. And WWE still has it, and she's on the main roster, and she got like that match with her and Bianca Belair on Raw went like through like 3 commercial breaks. I was like,
yeah.
And somewhere Tony Khan is starting to think about shitting a brick because his major selling point is now gone.
Yeah. What? Wait, what? Tag team?
We're the alternative to WWE because no one likes the way WWE does things, because nobody likes the way Vince does things.
Yeah.
Now Vince is gone, Johnny Ace is gone, Pritchard's not in charge of creative, and pretty soon Kevin Dunn's going to stop creeping people out because I don't think because he and Stephanie don't like each other.
Well, yeah, and here's the like, so I'm intrigued, but Raw just dominated ratings, like the highest in the last 5 years or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The demo.
It's been a while since they got got over 2 million on Raw, and they were over 2 million.
that 18 to 40 demo or whatever was a .61, which is what AEW kind of normally averages.
Yeah.
So their two things was we win the one demo and we're not Vince booked.
Yeah.
Those two are gone. Well, we'll see the ratings, but those two are gone right now. At least this week.
And you could see it on SmackDown, even though SmackDown was probably still very much the remnants of a Vince show. Triple H basically it seemed like Triple H took and just kind of put his twist on it. Raw was Triple H's show. Like that was from front to back.
Dude.
That show reminded me of an episode of NXT.
Can we talk about how Styles got a pin?
Styles got a win.
No, yeah, like one at least.
Well, yeah, but then then you have him lose to Ciampa.
That's another one. Like that's a Triple H move. Like
I told Dahlia that watch out because Finn. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Finn beats Edge. If Finn goes over Edge like in their feud. Now I don't think they're gonna get away from 50-50 booking immediately. Because there was still a little bit of that in NXT. Yeah. And stuff, but it's already less predictable.
He didn't do that with his people that he wanted to but a lot of times, it was weird because let's take a look. Dude, Adam Cole held that title for a long time and won a lot of feuds clean.
If you look at whenever Triple H was doing 50-50 booking, it's like, okay, so-and-so would win on this week's episode of NXT.
Right.
And then a couple weeks later, the other person would win in a tag match. Yeah. And then you had the blow-off. It wasn't like Vince would be like, this guy wins this pay-per-view, the other guy will win the next pay-per-view, then we have to do the other one at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Pull up your skirt. But But where's all the everyone's why is the new Asuka on there? Why is young Asuka there?
I mean, you did say that it was less predictable, but SummerSlam most of us got 7 out of 8, right?
Right. But at the same time, there were still things that a lot of while the outcomes were still kind of, you can see them coming because they were the culmination of stories that were going on before Triple H got there.
You're not going to have Brock take it off of Roman.
He's not. Yeah. So Triple H is not steering the ship to the left all of a sudden.
You're not giving the belt back to Theory. There was ones that it's okay.
Yeah. But there were some of those Theory. Some of those matches were in doubt. There were times I thought Miz was going to go over. There were times where I thought, the Mysterios were not the Mysterio, the Judgment Day was going to win that match. There were times where I wasn't so sure that Brock wasn't going to win because they told the stories different.
Oh yeah, and that's what I love about it's good.
The only thing that would have made SummerSlam the perfect show for me, the best pay-per-view of the year, would have been when Seth came when it came time for Seth, if we started to hear the beginning of Rebel Heart.
Oh, I want to hear the other one.
Okay, whichever theme song, but I think that
it would be Rebel Heart. We all know.
But I'm pretty sure Johnny's coming back, but I don't think Johnny's ready to come back. But he's starting to post workout videos now on his freaking Instagram.
He's got his dad bod. He's got to give him a second.
Yeah.
Only Kevin Owens can rock the dad bod and wrestle.
And that's another one. Don't be a bit surprised if you see way less of the talk shows and we actually see Kevin Owens start kicking ass again. Because Kevin Owens is a Triple H guy. And I'm not just saying that because I saw him hand him a title, but because the reason Kevin Owens went over was Triple H's influence. That's the reason why he had that belt to begin with.
Yeah.
Because
I was gonna say, let's be real. KO's gonna dethrone Roman. This. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Sammy now. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Shinsuke now or Boy Asuka. It's gonna be interesting to see. What's that? I said, I still think it's going to be Cody, and she said I'd be so pissed if it was, and I was like, yeah, but that's kind of why I came back.
I
Yeah, he was originally supposed to win Money in the Bank. So
How?
I don't like it.
Oh, I thought you said you don't like him.
No, I like him.
Oh, okay, I was like, bro, what?
I just
but like, well, I don't think that Tony Khan has anything to worry about necessarily. He just has to work. He just has to work a little harder now.
He's got to not do the Impact thing.
Where his troubles are, well, and in this respect, I would love for him to do the Impact thing. His trouble's going to be the women's division.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because it's still very much Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Tony Storm. By the way, though, Jamie Hayter looked great and got the pin. So, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she gets a push soon. I think this is the start of him. They're going to, because there was a very subtle thing on the show last night after they got the win, because Britt Baker's the one that's going out. She's got the match against Thunder Rosa, and coming up when she got in there, because Jamie Hayter's never done the thing. Rebel didn't do it this time.
Huh.
I don't know if that means anything. If maybe she just forgot her cue, or
that
she
makes more sense.
But it also could be the start of dissension. You know, like maybe they're starting a slow burn on that story that they started telling ever since Jamie Hayter didn't do the DMD thing, because Jamie Hayter's been her enforcer and second fiddle and has done jack shit. So could we see like a Wardlow kind of situation where, you know, I don't want her trying to get a catchphrase over that's stupid.
Oh God!
Sorry, I completely agree with Ollie Davis that Wardlow's world is stupid.
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Stop trying to get it over. It's not. But anyways, but just like build her up as like the kind of you've been holding me back story. Yeah. They're gonna have to tell a little bit different than they did with MJF and Wardlow, obviously. But you know, we'll see. I would love for that, because Jamie Hayter's underused and underrated, underused, underutilized.
So the only other thing that I really care about from that show, I guess.
You want to talk about the Young Bucks?
I do. Because like I'm so happy hurt. I like it.
I was hoping that they were going to hold off and have it be Kenny, but it makes way more sense for it to be Hangman.
But I still hope that they give it to UE or whatever.
Right, yeah, that's fine, but it's still going to be a good match, and you can get some more storytelling out of that, because Hangman doesn't need to reunite, you know, outside of going for these titles.
Yeah.
And when they lose, you can still kind of tell that aren't they friends? I want some closure on the Dark Order, though. Where the hell's the Dark Order at? Because they're apparently losing Hangman, and they lost Anna Jay.
Oh wait, they did? I don't
Anna Jay's part of the Jericho's Appreciation Society.
Oh.
Yeah, remember she attacked Ruby Soho, Ruby
Rose?
Ruby Gloom.
Ruby Gloom. Gosh.
So, spelled with a W for some reason.
Yeah, for real.
It's also a gun.
Also a gun.
Birdie, no.
It's also a high power sniper rifle. It's also a gun.
But yeah, so I'm for the first time in a while, I'm looking forward to. First of all, I want to go back, because we have shit all over the floor. No, all over Michael Cole for the last 20 years. And he was still obnoxious, but that was the best version of Michael Cole that I've ever heard at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because
he was genuinely funny. He got to spread his wings and say stuff. I can't wait to hear him and McAfee interact, because Michael Cole, I've always said that Michael Cole's very good at what he does, but unfortunately, what he does is regurgitate what Vince McMahon wants him to say. You cut him a little loose, And you see what happens. He was so much better at SummerSlam.
He's undefeated at WrestleMania.
Fair enough. In my heart, so's McAfee. That match with Vince doesn't count. We retroactively strike it from the list because he's no like just like I'm giving him the Benoit treatment. You're scrubbed.
No, that wouldn't. It's not gonna happen.
Although if I do that, then him losing to Triple H when Stephanie had the greatest heel turn in history. Yeah, it didn't happen either. All right, whatever. Don't care.
Now,
So
here's the thing. That's not going to change, is it? They're not going to be able to mention Benoit, are they?
No. I think that's
he's a huge history.
Okay, cool. Still a piece of shit.
yes, absolutely, and that's why they scrubbed him. However, here's the thing, and this is because I was, and as far as the stuff that was on television, was a huge Chris Benoit fan. He was my favorite wrestler forever. And going back to WCW. And so I'm very much in the camp that where I'm conflicted. I understand what he did. I get what he did. I get that how much of a piece of shit it makes him. But at the same time, he had some of the best matches in WWE history, and they're still there, but there's always that hanging threat that just Chris Benoit matches could disappear from the network completely. Well, it's not the network anymore, but like when you go back and you look at the WrestleMania triple threat between Shawn Michaels and Triple H, the description just says Triple H, Shawn Michaels wrestle for the WWE Championship in the triple threat.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's not math. So they scrub any mention of him. But at the same time, and I don't believe they show his entrance either.
No, they do.
I think there were some matches where they scrubbed his entrance. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So I think we watched one that he was supposed to be a part of, but they just didn't. They cut it out or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I get it. It sucks. But so in a way, you kind of have to look at it that Chris Benoit's actions robbed all of us, just as fans, in this superficial way, robbed us of being able to enjoy his body of work because the motherfucker killed his wife and kid. So, that's
the conversation we had. I didn't know him when he wrestled. I found out about him a few months ago just from what he did. So it's a vastly different point of view.
But and there are people that are in the camp of it was because of CTE. He wasn't, and steroids. He wasn't thinking right. And there are other people, and I kind of fall into this camp where it's I'm not sure that's an excuse. So, I don't know.
Could have that conversation forever and a day.
Yeah, exactly. Never gonna know.
I still think that moment's one of the greatest moments in wrestling history ever, and it's not talked about as much anymore. When him and Eddie
with the belts.
Yeah,
both walked out. Yeah, well, that's the same match. That was when he won the championship in the triple threat against Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Is that the Taz call with the Eddie cheated that one?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think so too, because that's when he beat Brock, right? Or was that not
Eddie?
Brock?
No, Eddie beat Brock at No Way Out to win the title.
Okay.
And then he defended, or I think it was No Way Out, and then he successfully defended it at WrestleMania against, was it Kurt?
Yeah, but I think that's that Taz call. I still think that's the match. Their players hate when DMs use CP or NPCs that they play.
Oh yeah, DMPCs are no. Because here's the problem with DMPCs is that because the DM knows everything, so therefore the DMPC has essentially metagaming knowledge of everything that's going on, and they tend to become Mary Sues.
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
DM can't help themselves.
I told him that he has to teach me to play D&D before I go back to school. And I just found out that a one shot can last 4 to 6 hours.
Yes.
So
Your average D&D session, like, usually is like 3 or 4 hours, depending on how much time you schedule to play, and they can last years. I think Blake's campaign's been going on for almost a decade.
And they're the same one?
I think they might be.
Shit.
Oh, by the way, do I have something in my search history where, like, because I get Twitter notifications, right? And sometimes I get random ones. Like, most of the ones I get are like Dave Meltzer said something else stupid, or the clickbait stuff that Wrestle Talk does, where it's like a major WWE champion has relinquished her title, and it's Ilya Dragunov, and I'm like, which he did today, by the way. But then, yeah, because he's injured. So, but I've been getting these like notifications where it's these random women that are all asking me if I like their Pokemon. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I get what you're saying. I realize that you're using Pokemon as like, okay, but why am I getting these? I don't search. I don't look up I don't look up e-girls on Twitter or anything.
It's just bots.
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
They do it to every dude.
I'm just, okay, that's fine. But I'm trying to figure, like, I was like, okay, do I need to scrub my search history? Like, do I need to get on a different watch list to get off of this list?
You that on Twitter?
Huh?
Is that on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's bots.
So I get
I
get them on Instagram too. A lot.
Wonder.
I always like their Pokemon. I don't know.
Yeah, I try not to feed them.
I used to get them on PlayStation. Those are fun because I used to answer.
Oh yeah. I haven't in a while, but I used to get random bots on Xbox.
No, nothing. There was a thing for a while on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Bots used to make accounts and would do the same thing. Hey, you're hot. Click my go fuck me account or whatever. And then I would just be like, oh, you're hot too. They're like, thanks, sweetie. And I'm like, why is it responding? And then I would have a whole thing. I can see if I can find them. I haven't deleted them.
I'd love to see that.
I delete mine.
I don't. They're funny.
I don't want to get divorced for something I didn't do.
But they were always like PlayStation Girl 555546. Like it was.
Yeah, like they're obvious bots. They have no gamer score.
Yeah.
There's no games in their play history. Yeah, everything is completely barren.
Like it's made that day and then spammed out.
Yeah.
Like the Snapchat accounts that have like a 2
snap
score.
Yeah. It's the same thing. I think that's why they all
it's
went.
Like subscribe for sex.
Because it used to
like what was the main event of Raw?
It was the Judgment
Judgment Day versus Mysterios.
No, it was just Usos and Mysterios.
Or Usos Mysterios, yeah.
Where so again, Dominic got to live every male fantasy.
That thing's been mean. That thing has been mean to death too.
It goes both ways. Like really. I don't know. Like it there's a lot of hope, I think. And that's good. Because, Black and Gold, I know they lost to AEW and the whole Monday Night War thing, but Black and Gold was what that was all I could watch. Like I couldn't watch Raw or SmackDown because it was awful. Like it was the same garbage. You had the same guys wrestle for like a month and a half, building up to their pay-per-view where the champ just retained or shenanigans or whatever, and it was just awful because it was the same stuff. You would have
like Goldberg comes back and takes the belt off, and not only the Fiend, but prior to that, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, dude, and it was just shit like that where like I didn't care anymore, and like not to validate him for anything, but like I get what CJ Shrewd talks about sometimes. Like it's garbage, it's annoying, and it was nice when AEW came in because it was like, hey, look. This is different. We give a shit. Like, kind of, basically. Like, it almost seemed like over the last couple of years, Vince was just kind of raking in his last moments. Like, I'm doing it my way I want to because this, that, the other thing, and I'm right because I've built this legacy. And that's fair, yes, he did. But you can see it. Let's see if it lasts. But there's hope for Raw, NXT, SmackDown. There's hope that WWE is like, you want to watch 3 nights of the week. Sometimes you only just watch like the week before the pay-per-view just to kind of know what's going to happen. I feel like you kind of need to watch each week because I think there's actually going to be built.
Well, because that was the thing with AEW, especially, it hasn't been as prevalent lately, but since it started, you had every week of Dynamite was must see because they were long-term storytelling. You had booking things, and a lot of good in-ring work.
Yeah.
Whereas WWE, no, you could just like you said, watch the go-home shows.
Yeah, pay-per-views always good. There's for
the most part, yeah.
I want to say I've never watched a pay-per-view that was less than 3.5 out of 5 because there's always something worth watching on.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's one of those things where it's like you had hope because AEW came into the picture that WWE would have to try again. And now you're going to get that. But I think it's actually going to work reverse where now that WWE has a chance to be really good again, AEW is going to have to step up again. Because they could, not saying they have been, but really they could have been phoning it in this whole time and still always been better. So maybe now, and because I was wondering, it's like, why haven't we done a trios thing for them yet? Well, you got to do something in order.
They were waiting for all their trios to get healthy.
I mean, that's fair too. But, I've been screaming for a trios title since damn thing started because they had enough groups and enough trios they could have done it. But, not, late than never type deal. But it's just, there's hope for wrestling as a whole because now WWE actually might matter again. Not that it never did, but in the casual fans, nobody cared. So
the thing with the way pay-per-views always went in WWE, that even your crappy, like your worst WWE pay-per-views, at least you had a banger Usos versus New Day match. Yeah. Or like, I hate the fact that, the Goldberg went over the Fiend, but man, did you see that Neville versus Austin Aries match, or whatever,
Yeah, like, oh my God, wow, Roman won in 5 minutes again. But did you see Seth Cody? Like, there was always
it was like, Roman won in 5 minutes again, but did you, or Roman wins low, but did you see that AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match?
Right, and
so there was always something good. Whereas with AEW, it was kind of the opposite way. Like, all the matches were good there, and there was always that one that kind of stood out like, now I think WWE is going to start getting that way because they're going to start focusing on the in-ring storytelling again. Yeah. You tell your story as to why these two are fighting, and then they fight and they tell the rest of the story just in the ring. And that's one of the things that I liked about AEW that I missed in WWE is that they got very much away from that.
We got Triple H booking with WWE video package capability. It's great. I've always loved vignettes. They've always been great.
They've done the best. They've always done the best. Even when WWE was at its worst, their vignettes were still top notch.
Bro, I
want to see him bring back CFO $sign because this freaking some of these theme songs suck.
But I always talk about this because I don't want this to ever be forgotten. But let alone the match, but that video package for Ms. Ziggler in 2016 at No Mercy, the career threatening one, that video package alone makes that feud. It's great. Now, we don't talk about It Should Have Been Me. That's a bad time. But
but yeah, so basically just to summarize, my issue with AEW is that. So, first of all, they're talking about giving their women their own show.
They don't have enough of those.
Oh no, they have plenty of them. They just you wouldn't know because they're all on Dark.
What?
But unless you're Thunder Rosa, like we said earlier, like unless you're Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, I mean, I know Penelope Ford's been on the shelf for a while, but she comes back. You still have the Bunny. You still have.
But here's the thing with them is like, why would I give? I mean, Chris Statlander, but like, why would I give a shit about anybody not named Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm, or Britt Baker?
And Jade Cargill. We've been absolutely forgetting to mention Jade Cargill.
It's like, right?
The pizza here.
Yeah, it's like because why do I, like we haven't cared about her, or like because it's like cool, she wins. Lol. Like she's like the streak is great, her record is awesome, but it's
no,
like
if you think about it though, you've got Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill, Anna Jay, the Bunny, Penelope Ford when she gets back, Chris Statlander, Athena, Jamie Hayter. Yeah. I don't know why Rebel is okay, but we can't really include her.
Has she ever even wrestled?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You've got Serena Deeb,
which that's a good.
You've got Mercedes Martinez, even though I know she's technically ROH, but until ROH is a thing for real, then we'll just count them as a
ROH is just their NXT. Like, let's
you've got Sky Blue, you've got I said Athena, didn't I?
Yes.
The baddies, those two. You've got Willow floating around there somewhere. So they've got depth, is what I'm saying. But now, but they're never on TV.
No. And
hardly ever. And when they are on TV, it's just Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm, and I get that. But I don't think the answer is to give them their own show, even though I'm not against the idea, but I don't think that necessarily solves your problem because you need to give people a reason to tune in other than, hey, the women have their own show now. It's like we're doing our own version of WoW. But
right. Sign Tessa Blanchard if you're gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, she's not even a WoW anymore, so
I know.
Yeah. But
that is a very sad story.
Yeah.
That is a lot of potential just gone because
that's an episode unto itself. But the thing with all that is that you're not going to get people to tune in unless you start featuring them more on television to kind of hype it up. Meanwhile, now that Trips is in charge and Steph is kind of in charge, and you're getting what like Io Sky wrestling through like 4 segments of a show or 3 segments of a show, and the belt was the belt on the line? Yeah.
Yeah, she was just pissed off and wanted to wrestle her. One of them. She didn't care.
So, now your company is now more appealing to the ladies because even though WWE has always done a better job of featuring the women on the show than AEW has, AEW is still giving them more freedom to do stuff. But again, now that Trips is there, you're going to start to see them actually get to wrestle.
See, my problem is, and I don't know if we talked about this on I don't think we did, but we were talking about, because we were talking about just during like SummerSlam and stuff. It's like, here's this, like, does Tony Storm leave if Trips is in charge faster?
No, because Tony Storm isn't getting hit in the face with pies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like
Ember Moon is still a thing.
All your people, and here's the thing: all the people that like have all the potential in the world in AEW in the women's division are still in WWE.
Well, I mean,
this one's hard to say, but it's like, do they convince Britt Baker to sign?
Triple H led WWE, Adam Cole stays, and Britt Baker probably has already been in the company.
Right. So that's things like all these what ifs that we've just been waiting for that 77-year-old fuck to leave for would have happened. But maybe, we can't promise that, but
right. No, but I mean there are a lot of them. Dakota Kai doesn't get released. Nixon Newell doesn't get released.
Cesaro doesn't go.
Cesaro probably doesn't go.
In WWE.
I think Cesaro's the one that put out the quote about I wouldn't have let my contract expire.
I bet you it was too.
Because I think it would have been too obvious if it was DB, but or BD now. But
I think he was going because he's kind of done all he could, and he was a Vince guy. Like,
yeah, I don't think Triple H is letting him wrestle in New Japan either.
Right.
I think he realizes that's not their best.
See, but that's the other thing is like, bro, we gotta do. Well, not we. I'm not part of the. Like, they gotta do that. They have to allow, like, bro, let fucking Kenny Omega show up. Like, work with them because when wrestling like that, it's a lot better.
Yeah, but no, because then now you're not necessarily in competition. You're all working together and holding hands and kumbaya and stuff. And so we're having like WWE and Impact are now working an angle. Then a few years later, it's like now they're I kind of I'm okay with the way things are now. Yeah. A charity show, like the two companies come together to do something for, some big cause. Okay.
Have like or because I've been screaming for this to fucking matter again. Why don't you make Survivor Series AEW versus WWE once a year? Something like that.
The problem you run into,
because I want Survivor Series to matter, but
arguing over who goes over isn't going because neither company wants their guys to look weak.
Right, but here's
so it's not really gonna. It wouldn't work.
If it's Survivor Series, and unfortunately, this is just how it has to be. It's always going to be 5-4 AEW or WWE. Like, you'd always know that. But that would be what.
So then so then you take away a lot of the excitement.
Right, but
I'm fine with the way things
are. You don't know which 4.
I mean, it can work, but it's tough.
High every year and do 10 matches,
but here's the other thing is that a Triple H led WWE, do they get MJF when they tried to get it?
They probably get him in 2024.
So now that Vince is gone and we're kind of revisionist booking in the past, Vince being in power allowed AEW to exist. Otherwise, it's just the Young Bucks and Hangman Page chilling out.
Yeah. Although, here's the thing. Do we get a 2019 Survivor Series this year? Do we get the 3?
I don't know if they're going to hop back on that immediately. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they waited a year because it's too obvious.
Although I wouldn't have NXT win this time. But
yeah, well, see, and that was a point that I was going to bring up earlier, but I didn't get a chance to. I still think that NXT 2.0 was punishment for NXT getting over the way it did. I don't think Vince really understood. Like, he knew, but I don't really think he grasped how over NXT was versus WWE. Like, he knew NXT was taken off. But then when, that Survivor Series happens and everyone's sitting there talking, first of all, he's probably already annoyed that everyone is saying the NXT TakeOver was the best part of insert Big 4 weekend.
Every single time.
There was that one time where WrestleMania, or I think it was either WrestleMania or SummerSlam, where like that was just as good as the NXT show. And but that was the thing.
Saying that.
Yes.
That's the problem.
So I think that was probably bothering Vince, to be honest with you. Like, I'm speculating here, but it would make sense that it was. And I think NXT 2.0 and him taken away from Triple H was punishment in his own little way for that show getting over the way it did.
And the excuse he used was that they lost AEW, or yeah, that was it.
He put them up against AEW knowing they'd lose.
Yep.
And the thing is that when they did that, they even said we're not trying to beat them, we're just trying to take away part of their audience. And then they did take away part of their audience.
They kept them under a mill for months.
Yeah. And then so he went in there with the whole we're not trying to win. And then when they didn't win, he buried them.
You know, the best part was that quote that Tony Khan said when they brought in Adam Cole. It's like, yeah, we were 82-1 in the demographic, and that fucking one was Adam Cole. Like, that was cool. But like, you know, Trips did what he could. Like, and you know, he took away. That's all he could do. There was weeks that they beat him, but like they were never gonna. It was only like the stupid specials anyway.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is that NXT was so over on the network because it was the small group. It came across like an indie show. You put that on USA, the way that they were presenting it always. It still looked like a very well done, but indie show compared to AEW, which looks like it's trying to visually compete with WWE, like bigger production, bigger crowds, you know, things like that. An actual entrance stage and not a curtain. Like, remember when we started watching NXT, they used to just walk out behind the commentator's desk, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember Corey Graves and Tom Phillips sitting up on the riser. You know, and then Finn Balor makes his debut by kind of walking through a curtain. You know, it's like you can see the curtain. Yeah. You know, and so it had that feel to it. And that's what people was like, this is WWE level indie show.
Yeah.
And
a lot of indie wrestlers anyway.
And it's kind of the analogy that I keep thinking of is like when people complain that their favorite small indie college band gets signed. You know, they sold out, they've gone corporate. That's kind of what moving NXT to USA was. They took NXT and it went corporate. So you had all the commercial breaks. You had all of the, you know, watching it picture in picture or just having to wait through the commercial. Whereas when it was on the network, it was the show straight through. You would have an occasional commercial and it was usually a short commercial for something WWE related.
All my NXT videos are like 8 minutes long because I was when they were on the network and they were an hour.
Yeah. And
that was
I do think
that is what. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I do think NXT 2.0 is getting much better.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's just there's gonna still be people like me. It's like, dude, NXT made me give a shit about wrestling again.
Yeah,
I fell out.
You told me to. I think it was you or somebody. Somebody told me it's like you have to start watching NXT, and I'm like, why? And then I found out that they signed Prince Devitt, who I was familiar with by watching his stuff on YouTube because trying to figure out this whole Bullet Club thing.
I think someone else told you to, but I said yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I started, and NXT was like it reignited the kind of the fire of watching wrestling. Like I always enjoyed wrestling. There was a period where I stopped watching during the Cena era.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, where I did not watch very much.
I watched a little bit more than you did at that time.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely watched more than I did.
But yeah,
I started watching again when we would always get the big four. Yeah. And it usually would be like you, me, Wife of Doom, and Big Shez. And we'd get together and watch. And then and every once in a while somebody else would come over. But yeah, and then when I started hanging out with Corey and Kevin at work, and we started talking wrestling, and it started kind of getting me back into it, and that was right after it was during Punk's 1.5 year reign or whatever, that was when I started getting back into wrestling. Like I remember the pipe bomb and all that, and I remember that match with him because we ended up getting that pay-per-view where because it was Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
We got that pay-per-view, and it was one of the first non-Big Four pay-per-views we had gotten in a long time. But I think but you were a big CM Punk fan, so you were a big Cena fan because you were a kid, and then you moved on to CM Punk. And
dude, I grew up in the CM Punk basically.
Yeah.
When I started not just watching because it was fun, I guess, like, it was like entertaining. When I actually started watching for the product, that was when I started liking Punk, Ziggler. I found Styles. He wasn't there, but I started people like the people like, oh my god, you gotta watch this. If you like wrestling, watch this dude wrestle.
That's how we came across Devitt, Ricochet, Ospreay. We would be telling each other all the time, hey, check this guy out on YouTube. You got to see this video. Here, watch this clip. Here, come here. Let me show you this clip. It's like, yeah, that's how I had no idea who Ospreay was. I know. And we had no idea who Kenny Omega was. The first thing I ever saw of Kenny Omega was him wrestling that 11-year-old girl or whatever. That was the first Omega video I ever actually watched.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I saw a clip of it. I didn't actually seek the video out. I saw a clip of it. In like one of those, and it wasn't Botchamania, but you know how Botchamania does like a compilation of stuff? It was like that type of thing where it's like weird wrestling things.
I watched him kick Styles out of the Bullet Club.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I saw that after I had seen him wrestle the doll. Because I think you said, hey, do you know who Kenny Omega is? And I'm like, you mean the dude who wrestled the doll? And
I was like, yeah, but no.
Yeah, but not what I'm talking about. So, and I didn't know who, I knew who Devitt was because I had heard of the Bullet Club.
Right.
But I didn't really understand who Devitt was until after I'd seen him as Finn Balor. And then I really went back and paid a lot of attention to his body of work. Like I was excited. It's like, oh, they got Prince Devitt, and then they changed his name immediately.
The Kenta Hideo Tommy signing was ridiculous.
Oh, when they signed Kenta, that was huge. Like even I knew who Kenta was.
That was bad. They fucked that up.
Yes. And the thing is like he's one of those guys that like you've never seen him wrestle because he wrestled for Noah and Noah doesn't get exposure. So in America it was like, oh, unless you were like the idiots like us that like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna keep hitting whatever YouTube suggests as the next video because it's something from Japan. Yeah. That's how I got across, because I go down rabbit holes on YouTube, and I went down a rabbit hole of Japanese wrestling. So I saw Kenny Omega, I saw Kenta.
If you don't know about it, it's a culture shock. Like if you're only used to like WWE, it's fucking weird.
Like, yeah, you're like, I saw some wrestling. The referee had bright red shoes on.
My God, getting red shoes.
And then you didn't realize it was a fake.
I'm pretty sure his son wrestles because they always make a big deal about it.
Yeah, his son wrestles.
Oh yeah, because Jericho wrestled him at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. He was part of that triple threat tag team or whatever, or the trios tag.
Yeah, fucking yelling about the red shoes. Because he was beating him with shit.
I think Red Shoes retired.
Probably. I mean, he was like their Mike Chioda.
I think it was more like their Earl Hebner, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I might have undersold him a little bit.
Yeah, but
they got that superpower where they don't look old until the next day they're like 90. Like it's ridiculous.
And I was reminded of something we're gonna wrap this up in a minute, anyways. But I was reminded of something the other day. Two things from the past that I miss. One is the ridiculousness that was NXT called by Mauro Ronaldo.
God, dude, I still watch clips of like his POV or like watching just him. Dude, it's
chomp on that motherfucker. But we exaggerated, but it was close.
You sick, sadistic son of a bitch. Like, he actually went into it too.
And there was a story that came out. I think it was all over the wrestling sites where Daniel Bryan was talking about. Sorry, Bryan Danielson was talking about how he kept trying to get fired from WWE because they wouldn't let him wrestle. So that's why Talking Smack was so good, because he was just doing the exact opposite of what, like, anything they told him not to do, he just did. And I remember when Talking Smack was almost must-watch television. Like that promo with The Miz, stuff like that, like just in general. And it made me realize how much I actually miss Renee.
Yeah.
Like, her podcast is awesome. It's fine, but she and her little stint on Raw wasn't great. But again, she's not the type of personality that does well when someone's telling her what to say.
Cheers.
Yeah, like Beth Phoenix. Ladder, tall, gravity.
Ouch.
But, that must have hurt. You said 3 words in a row. Sorry.
Crap.
But anyways, all right. I'm done making fun of Beth Phoenix's play-by-play. By the way, she had gotten better by the end too, but
Yeah, it was just funny at the
But
beginning.
all right, that's it for us this week. I've been Big Papa Grump. That's we got something out a little real earlier, but then again, then like the mute button went back on, and then and that's Junior.
All right.
The problem with that is that we always start talking about stuff that she wasn't watching.
Yeah, that was what was. Yeah, I knew as soon as we started going on that rant, it was like, nope, it's over.
All right, do your outro.
Top presenter out. Ah.